Welcome to my talk on smallholdings and what they can do for a sustainable world. Simply put, a smallholding is a small farm. In third world countries, smallholdings are usually farms supporting a single family with a mixture of cash crops and subsistence farming. Smallholdings exist in affluent countries and are valued for the rural lifestyle they offer. Smallholders already feed one-third of humanity, more than 2 billion people, many of them in the world's poorest communities. There are about 500 million small-scale farms in the world, varying in size and productivity. Smallholdings have different names depending on where you are in the world. In Britain, they're referred to as smallholdings. In Australia, they're referred to as hobby farms. In New Zealand, lifestyle blocks. In third world countries, a smallholding is a small plot of land with low rental value used to grow crops. Typically, a family cultivates a mix of staple crops to feed its members and produce a small surplus to sell at the local market. In this presentation, I will be focusing on British smallholdings. British farming has steadily intensified since the end of the Second World War, especially under the Common Agricultural Policy of the European Union. Farms, flocks, and herds become ever larger, yet the number of farmers has declined as technology replaces manpower. This pattern is repeated across the industrialized countries of the Western world, with the biggest example being GM crops and feedlot beef production of the USA. Developing countries have been made to think that they need to intensify their agriculture to be able to feed the growing populations, but this argument, long promoted by powerful vested interests and politicians, is increasingly being challenged by independent scientists. Studies have been conducted by the IAASTD, the DEFRA, and the UN. They have found that the way the world grows its foods will have to change radically to better serve the poor and hungry. The short answer to whether transgenic crops can feed the world is no. Small-scale farms are 2 to 10 times more productive. Even in the USA, the agricultural census shows a sharp decline of net income per acre as farm size increases. Smallholdings are highly productive because they are typically biodiverse systems that take advantage of the beneficial relationships between multiple crops and livestock, while waste from one crop become resources to recycle another. They embody the circular economy of nature, where energy and nutrients are recycled within the ecosystem. The large commercial farm, in contrast, follows an industrial model of bought-in goods and services to produce specialized outputs plus waste in a linear, non-cyclical fashion. Across most of the developed Western world, farm profitability is distorted by massive state subsidies to favor larger farms. Profits are often artificially created. However, food yields cannot be, and there is a very strong evidence that more food would result from supporting smaller farms instead. In the USA, the Rodale Institute runs a side-by-side study to compare organic against chemical farming. Over a 30-year period to 2011, this research has demonstrated that organic farming offers significant advantages. Briefly, it found that organic methods match chemical yields in a typical year, outperform chemical in drought years, build rather than deplete soil organic matter, use 45% less energy, produce 31% less greenhouse gases, are more profitable than chemical methods. Interestingly, organic maize yields were 31% higher than chemical yields in years of drought, while GM drought-tolerant varieties showed increases of just 6 to 13 over non-GM varieties. The way forward. The scientific evidence now strongly supports the view that neither large-scale chemical farming nor GM crops can possibly feed the growing world population, whereas organic smallholding is the only way that can. The knowledge to transform food yields across the world already exists. It just needs to be implemented. Changing direction in the face of powerful corporate and political interests will not be easy, but the journey has already begun. Thank you for listening.